All right, so let's first start talking about the actual workflow. So how does it work when you have an app idea? How do you actually turn it into an app? It's very simple, actually. You probably just need a piece of paper, or what I use is a Notion page. The first step is really defining your idea. So write down in bullet points what you want to build, right? For me, for example, it looks like this. One of my ideas was a teleprompter app, and I just jotted down everything that I could think of, right? So I want to build a teleprompter web app. I didn't want to have it like on a phone or whatever. I just wanted to do something like simple web app. I said the number one pain point that I identified, that was, for example, that most teleprompter apps have the issue that they are full of ads or are really difficult to handle. The teleprompter app that we are going to build, however, shall be modern, minimalistic, so not annoying, and free of distractions. Its only purpose, and that is what a teleprompter does, right, is to display a text on the screen as readable as possible. That is what I wanted and what I didn't find out there. So this teleprompter ad starts with an input text box, and that prompts the users to type or copy and paste their script in that box. A button centered below that box with Start the Teleprompter launches the teleprompter application. And then I jotted down some features of the teleprompter application. So I have a play pause button indicated by, a button, a slider for the size of the text in pixels, a slider for the margin with 0 to 40%. 0 uses the full width of the screen, 40% uses just the center of the screen, a slider for the rolling speed, an icon to either align the text to the center or to the left, a switch to choose the background color between black and white. With a black background, the text font is white. Some things that I thought of beforehand. White background, the text font is black. Indicate the dark mode with the moon and the light mode with the sun. Pretty simple stuff. And then important, all these features shall be handled from a navigation bar at the bottom of the screen. Most teleprompter apps have the issue that they have the navigation bar at the top of the screen, right? So when you imagine your laptop, you have the webcam just in the center on top of your screen. And then sometimes, or not sometimes, in all of the teleprompter apps that I saw, this navigation bar was on top of the screen. And this is the most important real estate because you want to have your eyes as close to the camera as possible. That is what I wanted to achieve with this teleprompter app. And it says here, since most people use a built-in camera or webcam that sits on top of the screen, this gives up valuable real estate between the camera and where your eyes are looking at to read the text. Therefore, place the navigation bar at the bottom of the screen, not at the top, right? So you see, everyone can do this, right? Like everyone can think about their ideas a bit more concrete, a bit more like in a structured style and writing down features. That really works for me, or really worked for me, because as you can see, I'm just opening a new window here now. Miniteleprompter.com is the app that I built with that. And if I paste in some text here, let's just use this dummy text from Notion. It just works, right? It just builds what I wanted to build. I can decrease the speed here. I can increase the speed. I can drag this, right? Just like I want it. I can increase the font width. Everything just works. Light mode, dark mode, center, aligned, on the left side. And I can even go back and modify my text here. So it was all I needed. And this took me, I would say in total, probably less than an hour, right? And I don't know how to code, but it is possible now. So this is what I'm really excited about and what I want to show you, how I get from just a few bullet points in a Notion doc or even on a piece of paper to something fully functional. And this is the first step, writing down your idea. Once you did that, also trigger the thought in your mind, what level of complexity this probably has. And if you're not familiar with coding, if you've never built something like an app, this might not sound super familiar to you, but think about what you use, right, in your day-to-day life. Sometimes it's stuff where you have to, for example, log in, right? If you use Gmail, for example, you have to log in, right? So Google knows, okay, this is the user XYZ at gmail.com. Think about that. Will you need something like that? For example, with my teleprompter app here, I didn't need that, right? It's totally fine for everyone like in their browser to just paste in some text. I wasn't interested in collecting accounts here, right? Not what I was up to. But is that something you need? Think about it. Do you need users to sign in? Then will you have to store data? In this case, I don't, right? I start this. I can go back here to the document. I can change the text. That's all I need. I don't have to like have a database here where I upload images or other files, right? That is not the case. However, for your idea, this might be different, right? So with all these things, the complexity adds up. Think about it if you need it. Why does it make sense to think about it in the first place? Because with that, the requirements for your app increase as well, right? You will need something if you need sign in and authentication and database for storage. You will need something like Google Firebase. I will show you as well how that works. So if the yes is above here in the second step, in the third step, you will need something like Google Firebase. So you will need an integration there. And this is where it comes in handy to have these templates that I showed you. So going back here, I think, do I still have it open? Yes. This is the tab with the template where we use Replit to just paste in like the API keys then. That is like, a key, right? An identifier from Google Firebase, which offers you authentication and storage, etc. So your app can actually use these resources. I will show you how it works. But this obviously, like these things make your app a bit more complex. So if you realize, okay, I can have it maybe in a more simpler way, do it as simple as possible in the first run. And with that, you can use the provided prompt template to create your initial app. So you generate the prototype then with the prompt that I gave you. So if you go to the prompt collection and then click on V0 here, which is what you're using for generating your prototype, you see this prompt here, right? In Notion, you just copy that, you paste it into ChatGPT, and you see this is a prompt that acts as a prototype prompt generator that accepts a description of an app idea and outputs a detailed paragraph of 100 words that can be used to create a prototype with V0 or the Replit agent, right? V0 is what I showed you, where I build my prototypes. Alternatively, you could even use this agent feature here that Replit has. I'm not really using it right now, but I assume that in the future it will be very powerful. So I just put it there for the future. Then you can provide some additional context if that is needed. In this case, we probably don't have to, so you can delete that. And then it just gives it some descriptions here, some guidance, include app development terminology such as key features, user flows, design elements, etc. Talk like a software developer, basically, right? Or a product manager, better said. It's like a product manager that talks to software developers. That's how to frame it. And then you see input for the app idea. And there what I do, I just go into my Notion page here with whatever bullet points of the idea that I generated, and then I go to ChatGPT or whatever tool you like and paste in these things, right? These ideas, and then upload those. That's basically the first step of the workflow. So just as a quick recap, define your idea, complexity if you need stuff like Firebase, and then generate the prototype. I will show you how this looks like on V0 then in practice in the next video.